This is the memorial that was built for the mill race. The mill race was, well, they kind of call it the ditch, but it was a small stream of water that was built so that they could have more businesses run by water power. The interesting thing about the mill race is it was built by Sam's family, but they built the mill race in 1835, and it was mostly built by Irish laborers. But what the mill race was it, see if you can understand what I'm saying, it took the water from a level of 2 feet to 6 feet, and because it flowed through this mill race that used to run in this area, that increased the speed of the water, which gave it more power. So it was able to power more businesses. And this one mill race powered 18 businesses at one time, and they made all kinds of machinery in the early days of Battle Creek. Water power was one of the most important reasons and the main reasons why Battle Creek was formed and made here, because it had 2 rivers. That's why the mill race was important at one time. A story about the mill race that's kind of interesting, because part of what you guys have been studying, I guess, is about health and how to stay healthy and all those things. In the summertime, the mill race would get very, very dirty because they used it as a garbage dump. And in a building right here was a company called Binder's Meat Market. It was where they sold meat. And they would just throw the garbage in the mill race. In the summertime, the smell along the mill race was so bad that nobody could even stand to live by it or be around it. And that was a constant, ongoing struggle and fight for the merchants and the people downtown to get them to get the mill race cleaned up, because it always smelled so bad. They didn't really know about, well, you don't throw stuff in the river and just let it float away thinking that's okay. That doesn't really work, does it? Your teacher said you guys have been studying or talking a lot about the Hussies.
Yeah.
You can see the sign over there for Erastus Hussey. 2 things about the Hussies in this area. His store used to be right across the street where the foundation building is. And that was the location, a lot of people have debated, where was the Underground Railroad? Where did the Hussies hide the slaves? All of this, the stories that, well, was that his house? Where was it? It wasn't never at his house. It was here in the back of the store. He had places to hide them. And there were many times when they had very short notice that there were whole groups of slaves coming through Battle Creek. And they would hurry and try to, he would call people. They didn't have phones then, of course, but they would get the word out. And they would get enough people to help however many people were coming. One time a group of 45 slaves came at one time and they had no place to put them. They weren't prepared for them. So what did the people of Battle Creek do? They put them up in the hotel for overnight. And the hotel building is still there. It's right there. Randy Case's building now. That was a hotel at one time, and that's actually the hotel that the slaves were put up in at that time. The other thing on this side of the block, in this block where this park is, was another building where the anti-slavery newspaper that the Hussies printed was printed upstairs. There was also a building where the very first classes for ex-slaves were held in Battle Creek. A lot of people did not want that to happen. They didn't like the newspaper, and at one point that building was burned down under very mysterious circumstances. And that put the newspaper out of business, but they moved the classes for the slaves, and that was the thing that was kept going as a regular thing.
Which place was that? Right on the corner here?
It wasn't on the corner, it was about in the middle of the block.
Of this block?
Of this block right here. I can tell you the exact building. That was the... It was called the Skinner Block. It would have been 16 to 18 East Michigan Avenue at the time. It was built in the 1850s. They called it the Eagle Block or the T.B. Skinner Block. Skinner owned one of the big houses on Maple Street. The upper floor, like I say, was held for the ex-slaves after the Civil War. And it had Hussey's newspaper, the abolitionist newspaper. And that was pretty much the idea why it was burned in 1846. And it was rebuilt, but the newspaper never recovered from the fire.
Why is the water working?
Why isn't the water working? I don't know.
They're cleaning the